This week we have on Brad Hippen. Brad's an owner of 1089 LLC, the custom home side of Sherman. Brad has a lot of roles. Well, roles in that he does a ton of different tasks. Brad has an iconic laugh, a steady mind, and enjoys every aspect of the building process. Brad has been in the construction industry his entire life and has 3 lifetimes worth of experience. Personally, Brad is one of my favorite people to work with. He has an iconic laugh and is such an interesting person to talk to. We hope everyone enjoys a conversation with Brad as much as we did.
Brad, your Sherman Award for Christmas last year was the Barndo Boss for turning barns into dreams and careers into lifestyles. How did you come into this role?
How do you want me to start at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was working for Northland Landscaping, and
How many years ago?
that would have been 2001 is when Steve called me and asked if I'd come for an interview. So I did, and I assumed at the time that Jeremy had probably talked to him a little bit about me.
Your son Jeremy was
My
already
son
working
Jeremy,
here.
Yep, yeah, he had been already working here for 2 or 3 years prior to that. So Steve, I came up, interviewed with Steve, and we talked, and he made me an offer, and I at that point had had enough of landscaping. I had been landscaping for roughly 17 years at that point, so ready for a change, and took on St. Andrews Field.
And that was building quadplexes.
Building duplexes.
Duplexes.
Yep.
Okay. So that was the first thing, and that was right before the market crash too, wasn't it?
The crash started in '08, but it didn't affect us until 2012.
Okay.
And actually, I went back landscaping for 2.5 years because we didn't have enough houses to build to keep me working. So I actually built a house a year. So I built a house in 2012, I built a house in 2013, and in 2014 is when we remodeled the Masonic Lodge after their fire. So I went to landscape, and nights and weekends built a house a year.
That's crazy.
Just because I didn't want things to not progress. Yep.
How come the lag period didn't, or how come it didn't affect you and it took a while before, supposedly the crash was in '08, but it didn't affect you until 4 years later?
I just think it took time for things to catch up.
Okay.
I mean, that's, I don't even remember people talking about the crash in '08 because people started to have their houses foreclosed on in '08,
Okay.
but it didn't affect, I think, the greater population that were already thinking about building houses at that point until
Yeah.
probably 2012 when it just stopped.
Okay. Their mind was made up, and
Yep.
yeah, they already had everything kind of
Yep.
figured
And
out.
yet I still built a
Yeah.
house a year, even though things were that bad. So
Yeah.
people were still spending money, the people that had it.
Sure.
But it was a pretty abrupt stop compared to what things had been happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who do you think you were when you started working here? Like, as a person, you think you're different than who you are today?
Oh, yeah, just probably because I was always a foreman landscaping, but the responsibility of building houses was much greater, more pressure,
Yeah.
definitely. A good challenge. I enjoyed it. I mean, is building still exciting? Yes, but was it more exciting then? Yes,
Yeah.
because it was new and challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still don't know everything, but it was really exciting coming in and taking on that challenge.
Yeah.
So, and pushing myself.
Yeah.
So, so am I a different person today than I was? Yeah, by far. I'm much more maybe patient. Compared to what I was then. I learned a lot from my mistakes, so you try not to make those again. So yeah, I mean, I suppose I've matured.
Mm-hmm. And when you started, where did you think you would be when you ended up retiring? Like, did you think think that far ahead at that point?
No.
Okay.
No. When I started, I was a one-man show. I had a few people come and work for me here and there to help with St. Andrews Field. And then after that project got done, then I was basically building custom homes. And I didn't need a whole lot of help on the side on those. I just pretty much did everything myself. We were building, maybe 3 houses a year then.
Okay.
So it wasn't excessive for me to be able to do it all.
But when you say do it all, you mean from the ground up, like you...
I had subcontractors
Yeah.
to do the framing,
Uh-huh.
but I managed everything, and then after sheetrock, basically, or anything in between that needed to be done, I took it from there.
Yeah.
Did all the interior work.
And at that point, were you building cabinets for these houses as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't build any cabinets for any of the houses.
Okay.
It was too much.
Yeah.
There was no way to be able to
Well,
take that role on.
I don't blame you.
But you built the cabinets in your house right now?
I built a lot of cabinets for a lot of houses, just nothing that we built. No.
Okay. Okay.
I built all the cabinets. Your desk is cabinets I built.
So when you started, you had a growing family, 4 kids. Getting into the work-life balance, do you wish that you would have had more time to be more creative freedom instead of just focusing on all the tasks that you had?
No, because I think they went hand in hand. When I was landscaping, I had winters off. So I had all kinds of time to do my projects. And that's when I built most of my cabinets, was in the wintertime. Furniture, somebody wanted something like that. Working on my own home, that was the stuff that I did in the wintertime. So as far as creative freedom, I never wanted to be stuck in my shop. I never wanted to be in an office. That just was never me. I always enjoyed being out on the projects doing the work. So, today I feel I'm forced to be in the office more than I want to, but I also, as I'm getting older, it's harder to be in the field.
Yeah.
I don't have that energy anymore to be out there. So being in the office is where I am.
And like I said, you had 4 kids. So do you
Yep.
feel like you handled the work-life balance with your family well?
No, I work too much. I always have. And people have always said you need to relax. Well, work is relaxing. That was what I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's the creativity part of me, that by working, I was creating something or finishing something or improving something, and that gave me purpose. So I think that's now, would my children agree with that statement? I'm sure they would have rather had me spend more time with them. But I was also young, and I don't know if I knew how to spend that time. And stuff still needed to be done. You had to, the reason that I worked in the wintertime on stuff like that was spending money. Landscaping was 6-8 months income, and then you lived on unemployment. It wasn't like I had a lot of money. So those side projects helped support the family.
And you chopped wood every Saturday for how many years?
Well, almost my entire life. With that outdoor, I would burn anywhere from 15 to 24 cord of wood a year in that stove. That heated my shop, heated my house and my hot water, and 4 ladies in the house used a lot of hot water.
Absolutely.
So and that was every weekend. Well, not in the summer. That was only from the time I was laid off until I'd go back to work. So that was winter. But so roughly 4 months in the winter, every Saturday and Sunday was spent cutting wood. Yep.
That's awesome. So awesome. Yeah.
And it was all split by hand.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that though, because it's like the job that we do, gives you purpose and you can actually see the job that you accomplished, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
then I think that that's probably where you find the difficulty with the office work, when it's like you're accomplishing things by answering questions and bidding jobs and, you know, doing all this miscellaneous work, but it's nothing tangible. It's not like you built a wall or you set a truss or
Yeah.
you did something like that. So, you know,
And
that's
I
where,
think that's the hard part about office work is it's
Yeah.
never done. Because, I mean, every day there's something else that has to be done in the office.
Yeah.
But when I was cutting wood, it was done. That you cut a load of wood a day, right? You stacked it up and you got to see that. I think even my kids would admit that seeing that big pile of wood
yeah.
next to the stove was like, look what we've accomplished. You know, they hated it at the time, but when you could step back and look at it, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Mazer and I got into that in the episode that he came on hard because he was out on the crew for 6-7 years and then coming into the office, the struggle with feeling productive.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
you don't see something tangible that you built.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Well, I had a brother-in-law because when I first came in here, not only was I out in the field, but I had to do all the office work too, right? Well, I could never get it done. And I had a brother-in-law at the time that said, you have to just leave because your office work will never be done. So you have to train yourself to just decide it's 6 o'clock. I need to go home.
Yeah.
Because it will never get done. And if you drive yourself crazy, because there's always going to be something more to be done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did, and that was challenging because landscaping, typically you were done with the job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And the next day you went to another job. And it was really fulfilling because you got to, I mean, you came into a house that had absolutely no landscaping and a bare yard, and you left and it was completely transformed.
Yeah.
You know, in an 8-hour period, 10 hours, whatever. And the people would now, and you didn't feel it quite as much as the homeowner because they left in the morning and then they came home from work and went, wow.
Yeah.
You know, but you had been doing it all day, so it wasn't quite as transformed. And I mean, I don't know why we never thought in those days to take a picture before and after. You just didn't. You know,
I'd
you
see
didn't
you out
carry
there
it.
doing a selfie with a disposable.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have a cell phone for what, you know, you had a pager. And if
Yeah.
you got paged, you had to go make a phone call to the office. But
Yeah.
it was a different time.
Yeah.
And I think if the cell phones we did have later probably weren't quality enough pictures to be.
True. But yeah, with landscaping, the timeline is so much different than building a house or building a building. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, a 1-day project where,
If you were on a job a week,
yeah,
it was eternity.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. I mean, you were really sick of going there after a week.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where now we're, you know, you can be a year into building a house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The crew guys on my side also, if you have to give them 4 or 5 day builds, they're like, you know, not that happy about it. They like the buildings that
Yeah,
they can
get
get
in,
done in
get
a
out.
day or two.
Yeah.
Change the scenery is part of the job
Yep.
that they like.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that your career dreams were fulfilled? You know, because coming back into it, I mean, obviously you have kind of a diverse background from doing landscaping and now building custom homes, but did you have something that you shot for?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't ever remember telling myself this is what I need to do, this is where I need to be. I mean, things have always just kind of lined up for me. I don't know if that's luck or was focus.
Consequence of hard work
Maybe,
and
you
luck,
know.
maybe.
Because, I never just had a plan. I've never been a goal setter.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
never, and am I afraid to set goals because I'm afraid I won't achieve them? I don't know.
Okay.
But I've never been, you know, I mean, New Year's resolutions. I was never into any of that stuff. It was,
Yeah.
this has to be done today, so just get it done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the family's got to eat, so you got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to have a roof over your head. You got to get a new roof put on. It was never that here's, I mean, everybody wants to retire with something in their pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think just hard work will get you there,
Yeah.
right? And everybody has a difference of where do they want to be when they retire?
True.
What is wealth I mean, it's different to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And everyone's definition of hard work is also different.
Definitely.
Because I mean, you are willing to put your body and your mind and your family and all of that through thick and thin in order to achieve what you have. Versus someone else. They're only willing to do this versus what you're.
Everybody has their limitations.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we heard that you were potentially going to be a pro skier out west. Do you have any regrets not pursuing that further?
Well, there's always regrets, right? I mean, my life took a path,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know who guided the path, but I went down that path. Yeah, when I graduated high school, I was going to go out and be either a instructor or a ski patrol out west. That was just my goal.
Yeah.
I had skied a lot through high school. And then I had Jeremy, and could I have packed up my son and moved out west? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But man, would that have been difficult, and yeah, shame on me for not trying, right? I mean, it should have been whatever, don't let those fears stop you. I mean,
yeah.
But it was scary. And I had already built a home, right? I mean, that was part of the process. I had built my home before I graduated high school.
Holy
Because I had a baby on the way. I needed a home.
Wow.
So
how many people can say that?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, and the house we moved it in.
Yeah.
But
still.
But it was, yeah.
Well, and that was the one that you had cut the roof off in order to haul it and everything. So it wasn't just like you picked it up hooked onto the hitch and
there was my dad and I built the basement.
Yeah.
And bless my father. I mean, my dad pushed, it would have never been my thought to do this.
Okay.
It was my dad pushing me to be better and excel. So he was the one that said, let's build the basement and move that house on it. So, yeah.
I could just picture you out west with long hair, all hippie, just skiing every day.
It would have been living the dream. But again, that evidently wasn't the path I was supposed to take. I mean, if I had done that, would I be where I am today? Would I be better than what I am today? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But that was not, I don't know. And I don't know if we all have I think to some degree we have a predefined path of the direction we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And you can vary from that path, but I think that it's probably pretty set in the direction you're going to go. So,
yeah.
And I had responsibility. I wasn't going to deviate from the responsibility of being a dad. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Beth and I have talked about that before. We call it inevitability. With the right environment, you're inevitable, or you're inevitably going to become who you are. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Yep.
So you're a perfectionist. Where do you think that came from?
My father. And even my mother. I mean, I can't just give it all of it, because my mom was very, very hardworking too. I mean, every day. My mom did everything with one leg, which is extremely impressive. She was an amazingly strong woman. Yeah. And my father was, to this day, the hardest working person I know. He was extremely hardworking.
How did your mom lose her leg?
Polio. She had polio as a child and was in the hospital. I don't know the exact numbers, but for like a year, while her parents lived in Brook Park.
Yeah.
So her mom got to see her like once a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said yesterday that your mom didn't even know she was a big sister.
Yeah, she didn't know until, it was well into, whether it was a month or 6 months, that she didn't know she had a sister or a brother. I'm not exactly sure which one came, but yeah. And my mom, after all the trials that woman has been through, is the nicest person in the world that I've ever met as well.
Yeah,
She has no bitterness towards anybody and has not a mean bone in her body. Just a pure, good-hearted person.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep.
That's great.
What is the most ignorant or dumb thing you've ever seen someone do on the job? And
Come on.
were you able to make it a teachable moment, or did you just have to get out of there?
That's one of the things you should have prepared me for.
Because there's a long list, or what?
Well, there is, because I mean, it can be endless. But I mean, one of the things that sticks out in my head, it wasn't even on the job, it was out here. And that's where anger really shows stupidity.
Okay.
Okay. We were getting ready to go to the job, and one of the guys was in a Sherman truck. And okay, we had just bought a new truck, right? And we're sitting in the truck with the guy that was working with me that day, and I'm watching two Sherman trucks out towards the gate. And all of a sudden, one of them starts backing up. And he's got the trailer hooked to the back of the truck. And the auger is sticking out the back of the trailer, right? Because that's how they haul.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him get closer and closer. And I'm laying on my horn. I'm trying to get my truck in reverse. And he drove that auger right into the front of the truck.
No
at about
way.
15 miles an hour. Coming back full bore, right? It was devastating. I mean, he just rammed that right into the front end of the truck. Pushed me. I had my foot on the brake, and he pushed me back 3 feet.
Jeez.
And the guy in the truck with me was like, I thought you were going to literally kill that kid, because I jumped out of that truck and I ran over there and started screaming at him so angrily that, yeah, I'm sure he thought he was going to die, because I was so pissed that he backed up probably 300 to 400 feet and never looked in his mirror.
Oh, no.
You know, and he was angry about something backing up that fast. So, yeah, that was probably one of the moronic things, that it was like, really? You never even looked in your mirror?
I bet he does now, though.
Well, maybe. So, but yeah, throughout the years, there's always been something stupid on the job. I did something moronic, right? Okay. I mean, this was back when we were building at the golf course, and it was late in the fall and things were frosty, and your dad had an excavator, and I should say Andrew had an excavator, and it was his baby. He loved that thing. Well, I had it. We had a dump truck. We had it on the trailer, and I was going out to do something at the golf course. I don't know if I was digging a basement or what I was doing out there, but I drove through the ditch. And when I came up the other side of the ditch, the trailer tipped sideways. The excavator slid across to the side of hence why we have a 4-point hookup on our equipment now.
Yeah.
Because the chain slid through. It slid over to the edge of the trailer and tipped the trailer over on the side. And while the trailer was tipping, I wasn't looking back. All of a sudden, the truck stopped, and it lifted the back of the truck 6 feet off the ground because the trailer went sideways. And yeah, I was a little bit worried. And the excavator was running, so I jumped up and shut that off quick because I didn't want it to explode.
Yeah.
Broke 2 windows on the side.
Okay.
And the call of shame to Andrew was horrific. To have to call here and say, your excavator's laying on its side.
Yeah.
Can you come out with some equipment? We get her tipped back up?
So that must have humbled you a bit. Did you, in that moment, think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on some people in the past?
No, I just thought, how could I be so stupid, as to have not driven straighter through there, or I don't even know. I mean, it happened so fast and totally unexpected. And if it hadn't been a frosty deck on there, it never would have happened. But it was but it was very humbling to call Andrew.
How did he react?
Oh, really? He was actually very calm. He came out there, we got it over, and he wasn't upset and wound up, and wasn't too many tears. And it was probably more embarrassing on my part but I know as a child I lied to my mother quite a bit, right? Because it was, I don't know why. If it was maybe because I didn't want to be punished for whatever I did, or didn't want to be wrong. I had a brother and sister who always, in my eyes, were so much more intelligent than I was. I was always, to me, the dumb kid, right? And they were, my brother was a straight A student, never even had to work at it. My sister worked at it, but was straight A's. And no matter how hard I worked at it, I couldn't hardly get above a D. Just wasn't me. So probably lying to her was probably trying to make myself feel better and not be thought of as the dumb kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
that's interesting. All of our faults really can come from insecurities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But then when lying creates consequences, you reach a point that lying does not make any sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, could I have told your dad a fib of what happened? But it was like, no, just tell the truth, because it's a lot easier to deal with it right away than it is to deal with it later. So just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you think you react now when guys call and tell you that they messed up?
Well, they don't. I want the truth, because everybody's going to make mistakes. And
that's what I mean, is when they call and tell you. Because, we have a whole section about mistakes we can jump to.
Well, mistakes are, if they're going to make mistakes, I want the truth. I want it up front, because I would rather deal with it than, because if you're going to lie to me about it and then I have to deal with it anyway, now you're going to make me angry. Or if you just fess stuff out up front and don't, I hate when people tell me they know how to do something and they don't have a clue.
That is
because
annoying.
That really just makes a lot of work for everybody. And if you don't know how and you want to know how, I'll help you.
Yeah.
But don't tell me you can do it and then totally fuck it up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said last week, I think, under promise and over deliver,
Yeah.
Like, don't claim that you know everything, but then you can actually impress someone with the knowledge that you actually
Definitely.
have,
Definitely.
And yeah, it's also just kind of a fact of being humble and saying that, no, can you kind of, and the thing is, I've definitely learned that when you go from, one person to another, everyone has their own way of doing something. So, although I might approach it in a different way, if this is what your boss is instructing you to do, that's fine. We're, just learn the new way and we'll work at it together and stuff. So, yeah.
I'm always willing to make change if it makes sense.
Yes.
But if it doesn't make sense, then continue to do the way until you find a better way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we've talked about that before too, where it's like someone might have a great idea, but you've probably already tried it, and the idea is not as great as it sounds.
Well, there's only so many ways to build a house.
Yeah.
And most things, there's only so many ways to do it. And most of them have been tried. They're always coming up with a new tool. It makes things easier, but it's still got to be done in a certain order.
Yeah.
So to try and put the carpet down before the concrete's poured, come on, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
So don't, everybody wants to reinvent the wheel, but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do.
Absolutely.
But you're such a curious person, and I can see that that's how you've made it so far in life, because you're never shutting anybody's ideas down. You take the time to listen.
Sometimes.
I've never caught you not listening.
Well, and that's something I've gotten better at too, is listening. Where a lot of it used to be my way or the highway, and now you have to, because you can't alienate everybody. So and now I know that I need people to get to where I am. Where it was always me, and it was much easier back then.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to think of what to have that person be doing. It was just me to get it done that day.
Yeah.
Seems like we say it in every episode, to go fast, go alone, to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a team, and
It takes a lot to learn that, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does. Because all my life, I've done everything by myself. You had to figure out a way to do it yourself. And now, to grow, you can't.
Yeah.
And Steve was really good at pushing that. It took me a long time to recognize it, but he was very good at, you can't continue to do it all by yourself, And that came to head that year. I built 12 projects by myself and was like, I can't do this anymore. It was 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It was bad.
Yeah.
Successful, but it was bad.
Yeah.
On me, physically.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the topic with mistakes, we had Carrie on last week, and we were talking about how Sherman is a safe place to admit your mistakes. Was your house, when you were growing up, a safe place to admit mistakes? Sounds like you lied to your mom a lot. So, but what did she do when you couldn't lie about
Let's clarify, I lied to my mom probably up until the age of 10. I think after that, I probably started pulling out of that, right?
Because you realized it was a safe place to say that you made a mistake,
Maybe, or there was
because
just
you
no
realized,
getting
I'm
away
just
with
never
it.
going to get away with it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. There was always eyes on you. My sister, I would have called her a tattletale. She was the one that would out. If you did something wrong, she was going to tell somebody you did it wrong. So there was, and you could try and lie, but you still got the punishment. So. And then you got punished for lying and what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
For your kids growing up, was it a safe place for them to say that they made mistakes?
I think so. They might not agree with me on that. I was hard on my kids. I probably expected more perfection than kids are capable of doing. Because I never liked to see things done twice. That was a waste of time. Do it right the first time so you don't have to do it again, right? So I was hard on them to do things right. I also wanted them to grow up to be productive adults and not be a drain on the system. And they are. They're all very productive adults.
And it's not because you don't want to have to take care of them. It's because you know how good it feels to take care of yourself and be productive, and what it feels like to get a job done and be proud of it.
Okay.
I think. No?
Well, I never thought
Why
of
did you
things.
want them to be productive?
Well, I don't know if I didn't want to take care of them when they become adults. No, because my father raised me to be a productive adult, and I think it's just ingrained in you to raise them to be productive adults. I love my kids. I always loved my kids. They might not have thought I loved them at the time because I might have been harsh. And I made my kids work. Were my kids overworked? No. No. Again, they might have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
But I didn't have them do things that was going to physically harm them, right? They do say that they've got bad backs or have bad backs because I made them cut a lot of wood.
Saturday and Sunday.
Right. Yeah. And again, they did cut a lot of wood, but as children, yeah, you're way overworked, right? You see it from one perspective, and that, oh my God, I'm being punished, and this is the worst thing in the world, and I'm doing this. This is 24 hours. Well, the max they were ever out in the woods with me was probably 2 hours. It wasn't all day, every day, right? So it did seem extreme.
Well, that and compared to when they went to friends' houses on the weekends or whatever, your parents don't make you cut wood on Saturday and Sunday? No. We just
Right.
hang out and do this and do
Right.
that, so yeah, that's definitely where I see that, people kind of get a different
Yeah.
perspective and then all of a sudden they realize, well, my dad makes me do this, and
Well, and then when we would get back and we would stack the wood, and if they didn't do a good job, I'd make them restack the wood. And that was just,
to ingrain in them.
and I wanted a nice looking wood pile. I mean, that was
Yeah.
part of the pride of me, is having
Yes.
a nice, would the pile tip over? It might have. Would it have been the end of the world? No, but that isn't what I wanted. I wanted the wood pile to stay where it was, and I wanted it to look good. And were they angry about it? Probably, but the next time they stacked the wood, it wasn't crooked.
Yeah.
So they learned that.
Yeah.
Do it right the first time.
Do they send their chiropractor bills to you now?
No.
Maybe they should. So Simon Sinek has a quote that we think you would resonate with. There is a difference between giving directions and giving direction.
And I think that you have a great way of giving someone direction and believing in their ability to get the job done. You're going to tell them what to do and not tell them how to do it. Well, sometimes you will, but then you're just going to let it be. You're going to take a step back and then just let them
I'm
take
good at that?
Yeah, I think you
Okay.
are. Yeah.
I don't consciously.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I don't consciously give direction the way I do it with any thought. It's just how I've learned to give direction, I guess.
Do you have a hard time asking for help?
Always.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because it wasn't ever there. Okay. I mean, okay, growing up at a campground, you had to learn to do a lot of things yourself too, because my dad worked outside of the campground. He didn't just run the campground. He had another job always that he did 5 days a week, and then worked at the campground on weekends. So you didn't have that person there to help. My brother was there, but he had his list of chores he had to do too. Then when I built my house, I had my father's help to do that, but then it was me and Jeremy to do things. Well, Jeremy wasn't able to help me. As Jeremy got older, yes, he helped me do things, but even then, what? Okay, well, Jeremy's at school. What am I? I got to do this stuff, or it's winter and Jeremy's got schoolwork, or Jeremy's over at Grandma's. I mean, I just learned to do things by myself. So I think that's part of the reason it's harder to ask for help, is because I'm just so used to doing it by myself. Katie tells me, why don't you have somebody come and help you? Well, it's almost harder to get somebody to come and help you than to just do it.
Especially when you're a perfectionist.
Yeah. Yeah, and people call me a perfectionist, but I can sloppily do something.
Prove it.
Look at the way I dress.
Well, do you wish that you were better at asking for help?
No, because I don't really consciously think of that either. I mean, sometimes, yes. No, I don't wish I was better at asking for help. I maybe wish that I had learned to ask for help sooner. But again, relying on somebody just slows things down. Maybe it would speed things up because I had an extra hand there. But yes, that to me, it always would have slowed if I had to wait for somebody to show up. And that's something hard for me to tolerate, was always my impatience. Because it was always waiting for somebody. And that I never did good at. So if I didn't have to wait for somebody to show up to help me with something, it was already done. It was just easier.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So in business, you need to take a certain amount of risk. How have you made sure that your decisions haven't been too risky but also been risky enough?
Well, I've really never been a risk taker in business.
Okay.
So I don't think I've made a lot of risky decisions. Steve has, again, forced me to make more risky decisions than I typically would have. I was always very conservative and very, well, if you'd call it predefined
Okay.
on the outcome because I wanted to succeed. So it
Yeah.
was thought out rather than just going, I'm going to take this chance. And when you're in this industry, there's not, to me, risk taking is more what we're doing now, where you're buying property on speculation,
Yep.
right? Where when people were walking in your door signing a contract, what's the risk?
Yeah, you're going to make a percentage and...
If you do a good job, they're going to pay you.
Yeah, true.
So there really was no risk. So
Yep.
the more of those I could sell, the less risk you had to take. When we were building spec houses at the golf course or even St. Andrews Field, the market was going good. And I didn't have control of that anyway.
Okay.
Steve and Andrew and Ethan had more control of how far that was going to extend. So, no. I mean, and in my personal life, as far as taking risk, I mean, I would probably only take risk as far as, I could afford to lose, right? It wasn't that, well, I'm going to lose. I'm not going to put my house up for auction because I can't afford to lose my house, right? So those big risks I just wouldn't take.
Uh-huh. You never bet the farm or nothing.
Never bet the farm. Was never much of a gambler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does leadership mean to you?
That's a hard one. I mean, you asked me this earlier, and I even said that. That's so hard. And it was, leadership was. I mean, it's one of those things that it's leadership is asking for help, because if you're a leader now I've got people I'm responsible for, and it's so much easier not to have to lead.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is worrying about yourself, leading is really simple. So people can only be as good as you can lead. That's it. And then that kind of reading your questions, that led to, how do you think you've set the company up for success for when you won't be so hands-on? And that's, to me, where the leadership comes into play.
Okay.
Because if I don't lead the people under me, the company won't succeed. So, am I a good leader? Again, it's never something I've thought about. It's just something I fell into. Every job I've ever had, they've put me in charge. Didn't want to be, but seems to be. So maybe leadership has come natural to me, or...
Yeah, you have that in charge energy.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, I've never thought of myself that way. It's just, here's the role, here's what needs to be done, make sure they get, I was always pushed into that. And maybe that was part of my father too. Maybe that my mom and dad taught me to be independent. And that maybe gives you leadership ability. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think vulnerability is a huge part of leadership, and one of the most beautiful moments in leadership I ever saw was you. Last year when I made us do that dorky team building exercise, and we had to go around the room saying, vulnerable things and nice things about each other. It was like 4 hours of us, your office team, up with the housing department, going around saying all these things and talking about encouragement. And sometimes you can be a little old school, like, oh, don't give them too much encouragement, that'll get them too cocky.
I can be, yep.
But you brought up to Steve, who's your equal partner, that it's sucked or been discouraging that he had never came to see the houses that you built. And he was like, oh my gosh, well, I never knew that, I wanted to. I thought that maybe you would
I'd
think
be
I was
stepping
stepping
on
on
your
your
toe, yeah.
toes. But it was just the most beautiful thing for you to do, and especially in front of your whole team. So I think you are a great leader.
Thank you.
To see a tough guy like you, say something. And Steve promised. Steve was like, I promise I'll visit everyone. Has he kept up with that promise?
No. But he's busy, and it's hard. The sad part for me is that I don't even get to see every house anymore that we complete.
Because such a problem. We're just building way too many. Horrible.
Yeah, and it isn't even. It's deciding to take the time to do it, right?
Which you should. If you put it in your calendar, you're gonna do it.
Yes.
So
No, you're right. I should.
right after this, go
Although I
write 'em
don't
all
want to
down.
be disappointed.
And you're not a perfectionist.
Yeah.
But so, who gave you the most encouragement growing up?
I never thought of my dad as an encouraging person. Okay, and I talk about my dad a lot, and probably because he's gone and my mom isn't. Right? My mom was just as encouraging as my father ever was, probably even more so encouraging as far as saying good job. My dad was not just like me. Oh, good job, right?
Yeah, well, maybe his love language wasn't words of affirmation. So, because, you told me that he didn't encourage you too much. Or encouraging and complimenting can be different.
Exactly. I think my dad encouraging me was him taking me with him everywhere he went, right? Okay. Teaching me what he knew was my dad's way of encouraging, right? But no, he never. I only knew my dad was proud of me by other people telling me that he had said he was proud of me, which was moving because, until they started telling you that, I never thought my dad thought anything of me other than I was a dumbass, right? I'm sure my dad probably called me a dumbass multiple times, and oh my God, you're not supposed to say that. And it didn't taint me for life because he called me a dumbass, right? I had a lot of spankings, but I deserved every one of them. I was ADD would have been me 100%. I was so hyperactive as a kid that my mom sent me with my dad because she couldn't take me anymore, right? Because I could not sit still. I still don't sit still. Something's moving all the time. So she had to get rid of me. So my dad encouraged me in different ways. He would focus my energy into something productive rather than just being wasted energy.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you encourage your kids?
How did I?
Do you?
I don't know. Tell them I love them. Now, they're adults. So, maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
I think you said it, you were in your 40s or 50s before you heard that your dad was telling people encouraging things about you, and that made a difference then. So it doesn't matter how old your kids are. They can still always use some encouragement.
But I don't know if I say anything or not. I don't consciously go, if I'm encouraging my kids, that would be a question you'd have to ask them. Or if I'm still a hard nose and not, benefiting them in any way, we had some tough times. Jeremy had a lot of tough times, growing up. He, really never had a mother in his life. My mom was his mom. Basically, she spent a lot of time raising him and turning him who he is today. Yeah. So did my dad, because he spent a lot of time with them because I was working. So and I was working in the cities in those days, so I wasn't even home. I would stay in the cities and then come home on the weekends and be with him. So it was, and so him not having a mother most of his life, it was really tough. you know.
You must have found a way to be somewhat nurturing and loving in that motherly way to him for how well-rounded he is now.
Maybe. Might have been all my mother. I was a screamer. I mean, probably still am a screamer. You know, I mean, I can have a short temper, and it was easy to holler than probably, and I think I got, because my dad was a hollerer too. You know, I mean, it was when things weren't going the right way, something went flying. You know, and you learn that. It's hereditary, basically. You learned, hereditary trait that you pick up from the interaction of your family, right?
When did you learn not to play with matches in a barn?
When I watched Jay get his ass beat by his dad. And I was wondering if I was going to, but he didn't. He didn't beat me, but yeah, Jay got a pretty good whooping for being, how can you be so stupid? Well, we thought we were being smart. I mean, we cleared the chaff away, you know, so nothing could start on fire, but we were probably from me to you away from the hay pile. Yeah, that could have been bad. That could have been really bad. But that's kids. We do dumb stuff. And evidently God watches over you, so you don't destroy everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you could go back in time and relearn something, what would that be?
Well, when you asked me that, or I read that question, okay, my thought, I mean, really what I wished I had done better in school.
Okay.
Because in this job, and early on I learned this when I came to work here, and Ethan was always really good at figuring out equations, right? And I took business math in school because it was too tough to do anything else. But I wish I had applied myself to learn that, because those things make this job so much simpler. If you know that stuff, you don't have to spend the time going out and trying to figure out that angle. You can figure it out just by the measurements you have at your desk. Or instead of going out there and physically trying to, okay, this is so many degrees and I got to measure this truss over to here so I knew how much steel. Where you didn't have to do that if you knew how to do the math.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Okay.
And I still don't.
Yeah.
But that's what I wished I had really applied myself on, was just being a better student.
Yeah. Yeah. You tend to have great intuition. How have you honed those skills in?
Trial and error.
Yeah. School hard knocks.
Pain. Yep. Never wanted to do things twice.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably what's honed those more than anything is, and lack of time. There's only so much time. Well, if you got to do it twice, now you're not getting something else done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of retiring soon. How do you want to be remembered?
I don't know if it matters, because sooner or later you're going to be forgotten anyway. So, I mean, I want to be, probably just by my family. I mean, that my grandkids will tell their kids about their grandfather, what he was capable of doing, and probably more than, because work is going to go on. It's never going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, people are going to mention, well, Brad probably did it this way, you know, but doesn't mean it was the right way, because there might be a new way to do it now. So
we could make a map route of all the houses that you've built, and they could take a little tour when they're older.
maybe.
Grandpa built that house.
That would be really cool. Have pins on a map and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not on this earth to be, I don't think I'm here to leave a legacy necessarily. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. I mean, as far as I'm gone, I'm gone.
So what are you going to do when you retire? Just hang out in your beautiful Barndo that you built? We'll have to put some pictures on.
Doubt it. I don't know if I'll ever retire.
Okay, you said it here.
I did.
We might not
I
let
mean,
you.
I mean, I don't know what it's gonna. I mean, because it hasn't. I mean, I watch your father, right? He's always got something to do, but he's still here every day.
Well, I am really obsessed with goals, and I preach why goals are good. But you talking about not having goals, I mean, maybe you're just a type of person that is okay with being surprised, and maybe that's a really good thing, and we need to think about that more too. You're just like working hard, being a good person, going with the flow, and seeing what happens. And I mean, I think that's great. I think we can all learn from that too.
And maybe that's how I mean, I don't know if I just go with the flow, because I mean, I've always had good focus to get something done, right? But I've never, like I said, like, okay, by the time I'm 25, I have to have this, or by the time I'm 30, I have to be here, or my goal is to have a house in Europe. I mean, I've never set those kind of goals. I mean, and maybe I do subconsciously because I know where I need to be or whatever. But I mean, again, if I've had one goal, it's to make sure that I can retire and still live the way I live, right? And hard work was what I thought I had to do to get there.
Yeah.
You don't have to work that hard to get there. You just have to be a little bit smarter on how you do it. But that was what I was taught, was if you work hard, you will live when you retire.
Oh, maybe you'll go on Survivor.
No.
You love that show. Why do you love that show so much?
I think I just maybe like to watch the interaction of the people. On Survivor, the best thing I like about it is just the games.
The uniqueness and the, like, somebody had to come up with these games.
Well, maybe it's kind of, what I wish I was 40 years old and on Survivor doing those games, because I would kick everybody's ass. That's, I think, what I sit and watch and think about. Yeah, wish I was 40 again, because that would be a blast. They'd all be in my dust.
And you're such a supporter of women that you love watching Sex and the City so much that your girlfriend said.
Don't even. I hate drama shows. I hate them.
Okay. We'll just cut that part off.
Oh, man. So at the end of the episode, we like to do a would you rather, okay? So you have to pick one. So would you rather never have crab legs again or never shoot a gun again?
Oh, crab legs. Give them up in a heartbeat. You got to come up with something better than that.
All seafood. Don't you really love seafood?
No. I like seafood, but do I like seafood more than a steak? No.
Okay.
No. I mean, I love all food. It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And crab legs, they're a lot of damn work for the little gain. So no, crab legs in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
To never shoot a gun again.
What are we, crazy?
Take my leg.
Yeah. That's what we should have asked, dang it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because no, that I love.
Awesome. Well, anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thanks.
You didn't make me cry.
I didn't try too hard.
You probably could have.
We'll edit a tear or two in.
Yeah.
Well, you did your research. Did Jay come up with tell you about the hay shed?
Jeremy did.
What?
Or Scott. Can't
He remembered that? Wow, that's impressive. That he had that in his head yet.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Brad.
you.
Thank you so much for listening in on That's What She Said. If you are as passionate about leadership as I am, I would love to hear from you. Please go to my website at that'swhatsheshed.live to share feedback, ideas, and start the conversation of coming on the show.